what it is.
What's up?
Got your person in the cut.
God damn.
Oh, okay. I see you got that new.
I'm already just out here like.
I have a bad habit of sitting like this, but
Yeah.
today I gotta be like.
You gotta be like, I can't even like move the thing around so you guys can see the bag. Yeah, I want to see the bag.
I hope if
Yeah, I
they
wanna
can't,
see the
that's
bag.
on them. That's on them.
We'll post proper pictures, but I'm sure as you can see by now, we have rebranded. We changed our logo. We decided, a new look would be very nice to start off. What is actually the new year,
and actually an actual look, because I feel like everything that we had before was just a matter of we're starting a podcast. It's supposed to have a logo. They actually need a thumbnail for SoundCloud, for Apple Podcasts, for Spotify, and so now it's like more intentional. We have a font, we have colors.
All of this was done by Qew Doodles, Qondile Dlamini. She's amazing. Y'all check her out. But yeah, we have switched it up. How are you feeling about it?
I'm excited, nervous, but I'm like, yo, this is cool. It feels good to finally create stuff. If people say that they would like some, we're looking to create merch, like join the full-on content creator vibe.
Might as well, guys. Since you guys are insisting on calling us content creators,
you might as well do what they do.
Might as well do what it does.
Bo.
But yeah, how are you doing? Just in general, it's been so long, guys. Like life has been lifing so much,
guys. I feel like, I don't know. I hope we are done with death. Like, there are so many things that we must experience. We have experienced death. We have experienced birth. I'm keen for more birth.
The birth.
I'm keen for more birth. Like, I'm sick and tired of death. I'm good. I'm well. Adjusting to my new role. I wish it could be my role permanently without any other roles.
Hint, nudge.
I'm enjoying it. I'm a bit sad that the good sis, as we were saying, looks like she's over breastfeeding. Whereas I really, really enjoy it. And it's been great for my body, for my mental health. So that has been very refreshing. I'm also excited about the Ember months being back in the streets. Nice weather. Overall, I'm doing well. I'm all right. It's been a tough year, but I'm happy. I feel like when you have constant giggles in your life, it's kind of difficult to embrace anything else.
It helps.
Except but zone in on that. You know?
No, that's true. I mean, you can't see that face. You can't wake up to that face in the morning and then like not feel some sense of light. That's why I've been like, it's been frustrating, but like it's been so nice being around a baby because she's just like she's just laughing for no reason, and it's like that's really sweet.
I wish I could go back to that.
Like, give me that joy for a reason. Like maybe give me that, because I've experienced death. Actually buried my grandmother, my last alive grandparent, this past 2 weeks ago. So I mean that hasn't really been the best. I think more than anything, I'm mostly like the most, I suppose, not worried, but like looking out the most for my dad because he really loved his mom, and also just like guys, this year has been kicking my ass, guys. So I'm getting drop kicked. I'm getting boxed, guys. And
the year of the bully. What is the Chinese year for this?
Isn't it the bull?
I don't know, but it's the bully.
It's bullying me. I'll tell you that. Like life has been drop kicking me. I'm trying to finish my thesis. I'm getting there. I really am getting there, which is nice. I think
That's
I like
good.
I think it's been refreshing, or it's felt good to know that I'm nearing the end, and to actually see it. I still feel like I'm very far, but apparently I'm not. So I'm like, okay. Like guys, what hasn't happened in my life? Like I lost a best friend.
I've been through that before.
Yeah, I went through
a wild thing.
I can't say I'm going through a friendship, but it's done now.
It's done.
I'm just
like the papers are signed and sealed.
It's and divorcing.
You're picking up the pieces.
I've taken my shit. She's taken my shit too.
And one thing about people, when they leave, they
will take your stuff. But just kind of getting through that, which has been okay, to be honest. I think the rebuilding has been helping, like being able to rebuild, and there's a sense of clarity as well for whatever reason. I'm not gonna say why, but I feel a great sense of clarity. It's not easy. I don't wish her well. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I'm not trying to listen. This is not that type of page. But bless her wherever she is as well.
May she get what she deserves.
May she get what she deserves.
At least you're keeping yourself honest when you say that.
Yeah, no, look, I don't want to lie to anybody. I don't want to make it seem like I'm not. I'm absolutely not. I'm incensed. I'm angry. Which is part of the sort of, I guess, healing process. You have to go through those things. But I don't think I'll ever get to a point of like absolute peace. Like, get out of here. I don't know. It's just that it don't hit like that.
I guess that brings us to the topic for today, which is the weight of vulnerability.
I'm sick and tired.
I think for the longest time we've been talking for 4 years.
Yeah.
And one of the central themes of this podcast has always been about the power of vulnerability.
Yeah.
How important it is to be vulnerable.
Yeah.
And how important it is for us to constantly uncover different ways of being vulnerable that are healthy for us and that bring us closer to our truth and closer to ourselves.
Yeah.
However, over the last few years, one thing that we have learned, or one thing that we have come to see, because I think for the longest time I thought the weight that I was feeling was as a result of confronting certain things and actually getting then to see how heavy those things are. But what I've realized over the last year and a bit, especially having had to deal with like my uncle being murdered and everything that was uncovered from that, is it is so heavy. Like being vulnerable, being open, speaking your truth, expressing yourself.
I've had enough. Like I'm like, it's funny, like I say I've had enough, but I don't stop, obviously.
You can't because the opposite is heavier.
It's not any better.
The opposite is heavier.
So I've kind of been like, yo guys, I was the one who actually asked that we speak about this, because I'm really at that point where I feel like every week of this year I've said this, I haven't had a semblance of peace. And
must it be every day?
Every day, Sana. Every day, Sana. I can't tell how many excuses people have been telling me, yo, excuse this, excuse that. But I think I've just been really tired of just like sharing my feelings. Even with the people that I love, I'm just like, I actually just wanna sometimes say I'm okay and like leave it at that, But it's been heavy, like having to be so open about how I feel, having to be so like, it's just, I don't know.
And at a time where you're feeling the complete weight, it's like when people keep telling you about, no, it's lighter because you're sharing with people. You're not registering that.
I'm not registering that.
You're not registering because Iasinda. If it's 10 kg, Iasinda. The fact that I'm now carrying 50 kgs and other people are holding 10, I'm still feeling that 10 kg.
Literally.
Literally. And I think that's what we've been going through, because for me, as soon as my uncle passed on, it was like my life changed so drastically, because he was my grand's last surviving kid. And now there were roles that I wasn't aware of that he was assuming. And one of the greatest or heaviest ones, like outside of the financial stuff, outside of the physical presence, is the actual emotional labor that I now have to do for my grand. And it's so heavy. Like being that central person for someone and there's literally no one else, or they put that role on you, is very, very, very heavy on top of everything else that you're going through and everything that you're registering. Like me having to accept all of the support that I'm getting from people for my child and the role that I'm going through, but at the same time registering that, like, shit, my mom's not here for this. Like, this would be such a great moment for, I'm imagining that it would be. I don't know what my relationship with my mom would be right now, but in my mind,
and it was so precious because she looked like her, like
literally when she came out. And in my mind, I'm like, oh my gosh, like, this would have been so great for me and my mom. It would have been so great to see my mom step into this role,
that grandparent role.
Yes, and now having to, like, witness other people and still be grateful for that and be vulnerable and at the same time long for something else is like, yo.
That is, I think that's been my biggest, like, gripe with this period of my life, is that I'm so demoralized and I'm just like, I'm so done. But there is nothing, or there's no atom in my body that wants to even step into a thing of life is not going to get any better. Like, I can't say I've been abandoned. I can't say, I mean, I don't know about my parents. Bless them wherever they are, but you know, we've got some beef.
Yes.
You know, I can't say I've been abandoned. I can't say that I haven't been emotionally supported. I really have been. So that, I think, also having to carry that like balancing
how
act.
do I express my gratitude while feeling extremely tired, while being tired of being vulnerable? Because even with gratitude, right, it's like you being vulnerable enough to acknowledge that these people have assisted me in this way, and being able to see this assistance and feel that gratefulness and feel that worthiness, because we think that vulnerability is only about expressing the difficult emotions, and in terms of even the positive stuff is difficult, but the difficult in terms of the bad stuff. But when now these good things are happening to you and you're like, I'm so vulnerable because I feel like I should be able to do this for myself, or I feel like I don't want to fall into a certain stereotype. So an example I'll give you is I was in PE for a month. Sorry, I keep checking my phone even now, because vulnerable moment. We were leaving the house and I had to go drop off my baby at my dad's, and I literally forgot to take her bag. So I now had to Uber connect the bag to my dad's, and now I have to liaise. And even in that moment I felt like, oh my gosh, I'm such like dilipara mama, like how am I forgetting the baby's bag? But it's like we were rushing out of the house, and you know what, I've prepared for this woman. She has everything at my dad's, but at the same time you still carry that weight of, oh my gosh,
I should have done this, should have done that.
Yes. Back to the story that I was telling. You literally, it's wild. I was in PE for the month, and I brought the baby home so that more of my family members could meet her, and so that she could connect and go home. I planned and all of that, where her Inkabayake is buried and everything. When we were about to leave, everyone kept asking me, but I could tell that people were like, "Hey man, you're gonna miss her," and don't. I'm like, no, she's literally coming with me. Like, we're going, and they're like, I thought you were gonna leave her. And I was like,
for what?
I was shocked because I was like, hey boo, I didn't know this was a thing that still happens.
It's still happening.
But I was calculating like, oh, okay, other people's costs, or they have to go back to work earlier, yada yada. But for me, it's a very different thing. But even the fact that people were making those assumptions, I was like, this is very, very interesting.
It's also like, can't you see this lady's old, man?
Literally, my grand's like 70. But like, I was like,
why would I want to do that?
And for me, but what was weird for me is like, why did I step into that thing of judging? Like, why did I step into the thing of automatically judging the people who do leave their babies? Whereas their circumstances are completely different. But at the same time, I was like, no, my circumstance doesn't allow for that. So I don't understand why the assumption would be that this is a good thing to do.
I think I saw someone saying it's black culture, and I was like, I'm gonna need you to shut the hell up.
It literally isn't.
It isn't black culture. It's obviously, like we're saying, people's circumstances are different. A lot of different things are happening. You know, like people have, you know, work to go to, and unfortunately, you know, you can't afford someone to help with your child, and it really is just us helping one another. I don't think we should be saying it's black culture. That is, I think that's preposterous.
It's not. Also, I feel like it's just unfair.
That's not.
My gran raised my mom.
Yeah.
She raised me.
Yeah.
When does she get the time to breathe?
Exactly.
When does she get the time to enjoy being a grandmother, which I feel is what's happening now. And at the same time, I wouldn't be able to do that without the support that I have from my dad and like who looks after my child at my dad's. You know, so it's like you still feel very vulnerable with that, because you like, why can't I do it all? And it's like, no, it's not realistic for you to be able to do it all.
Don't make no sense.
And then you dwell on not being able to do all of that, you know?
No, I feel you. I mean, for me, I think like with everything that's been going on, I think the real sort of like weight really comes from having to, I think one of the things that have been very interesting actually has been managing everybody else's emotions about the things that are happening to me.
Yes.
It's been very weird. I'm like,
and obviously you must feel extremely exposed.
I feel overexposed. I feel so overexposed. I feel so like just like out there. And I'm just like, at this point in time, I literally just want to like hide away. And like, I don't want anyone to see me. I don't want anybody to like speak to me. I mean, maybe not. But you know, I just don't want to be like out there like this. I don't want to be this naked, overexposed, or this naked. Not anymore, but for now. I mean, thank goodness for the support of my friends, and you know, everybody's been very like supportive and all of that. But you know, it's just been so like rebuilding also has been so, because then like for me, what then happened, you know, as we're sort of trying to rebuild, you realize the triggers in certain things.
Yes.
I mean, I realized I was experiencing a form of PTSD because, you know, I would like, my emotions or my mood would dip like completely during a certain time. And I didn't understand why. And I remember I was speaking to the psychiatrist. I didn't even want to, because I was like, I can't even afford this. But I was like, I need to go for this, because like I just need to figure out what is going on. And then she kept asking me a bunch of questions, and I was like, oh wait, X, Y, and Z actually happened at this time. That's why my mood keeps. And then she was like, yeah, that's how PTSD works.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is so silly.
Dog, I literally did not enjoy Fridays for like 6 months, because when my uncle got shot, I got a call on a Friday evening while I was chilling in bed drinking a Copperberg. And every Friday night I was anxious. Like I was expecting something to happen. So I completely get that.
And I mean, muscle memory really is a thing. I mean, I remember last week, it had been a week since the funeral, and I remember feeling like very like low energy, and I was like, I didn't get it, and then I was like, oh wait, it was the funeral. Like this time last week, we were at the funeral. We were, you know, we're doing all that we had to do and all of that. But I mean, yo guys, like there's just we're going back to filming like frequently, so I'll be able to.
We've been promising, but life keeps
happening. You know, I'm this side, and then I'm, you know, in Nelspruit, and then I'm in Cape Town, and then I'm all over the place. So, but I have my equipment with me, so we will be able to film. I'm not saying we're closing the episode right now. I'm just saying that, like,
disclaimer.
I'm all over the place in terms of like what I'm talking about, because so much has happened, guys. Like, if I could tell you every single thing that happened, I think I was speaking to a bunch of youth on Friday, and they were asking me questions about, you know, like, you know, when you go to varsity, like, how do you deal with like losing friends that you went to high school with and all of that. And I was like, I don't know, man. I just lost my best friend of 15 years. And they were all like, And I was like, it just, I don't know, guys. I guess it's just life.
But it's so interesting how like people can be evolving, and you only notice the change when they stick that knife in you, and you're like, wow. When you look back, you're like, this person's been changing for some time. But that's a topic.
That's a topic for another. That's a topic for another day, because that one is that one is especially close to my heart, because it really was one of those situations where everybody else is like, we knew this was gonna happen, and I'm like, I knew nothing was gonna happen. Like there was no atom in my body.
It goes back to that chat we were having yesterday, where we like if somebody comes to me and they're like, if something happens between me and Rondo, they're like, how did she not know he was doing XYZ? That time when you've got your blinkers on, you're focused on loving a person, and then next thing, so you never know. People are dynamic.
Like, I'm in the pits. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I'm like literally. This has even brought me back to my faith. Like that's how bad things are. Like where I literally have to be. I have to be accountable.
You've got the Bible app.
I have to be accountable to something
higher power,
or some higher power.
I have to.
It
cannot be just by chance that all of this is happening.
No. Like I'm like, there has to be a reason, and there has to be a reason why I can't. Like I still feel so like deeply optimistic, but also deeply like, everything is just wrong. So like obviously I'm trying to make sense of all of that stuff and just trying to understand like why would I feel like this at my absolute worst? Like that's the last thing you would typically be feeling. I don't know if it's growing up. I think I was speaking to a friend of mine and she was saying we're a bit too grown to still be as cynical as we were jaded. Back then. Or to be as cynical and jaded as we were back then. Like, and I was like, you know what? Actually, you've got a point. I'm hearing you.
And also, I feel like we've been through some shit. Like, you don't need to be through some shit, but like, I have this thing, like, for me, it's wild. I benchmark my mom's death. Yeah. And I'm like, sometimes it's healthy, sometimes it's very unhealthy.
Yeah, but like nothing's gonna happen.
I'm like, nothing can top this.
That's exactly how I feel.
Nothing can top this. So I can get through anything because I've already been through my worst, my personal worst. Yeah, I've already been through. Yeah, like nothing can top this.
I'm not. I think I'm at a point where I'm like, I don't know, just like how much resilience am I supposed to like show? Hey, like I feel like I've always been resilient.
It's so wild, but like vulnerable moments. I saw something, I think it was David Bowie, where they asked him like what his best achievement is, and it's like marrying his wife, and they're like, no, music, no, it's like nothing will ever top that. Yeah, I feel like even like from a positive perspective, like having my kid, like I'm not saying it in a way that's like my kid is my world, I have no other aspirations, but like from a positive thing, nothing can top that. Yeah, nothing can ever top that. Like it is out of this. There are no words to encapsulate what that means to me. And how that level of love. And nothing can top that. So. But anyway, back to the weight of vulnerability. Like I'm gonna ask you a question, and you might not even be able to answer it. Mm-hmm. But how do you get through? Like, how are you still moving? How are your shoulders? How is your back not broken?
One, I take my medication. Let's start
Good
there.
One.
To be honest with you, it's my medication. My medication's fighting for me. You know, for one. Two, obviously, like, you know, having sort of reconnected. I wouldn't say reconnected. It's always been there. I think I've just been a lot more fervent. Just sort of focusing on my faith, and once again, just being accountable to something other than myself and the people around me. Because I mean, what's that gonna do for me?
It's actually wild. Like I remember when I was pregnant, I had the conversation with you where I was like, I probably have not identified as Christian since I was like 14, 15. But falling pregnant and thinking about how I am to raise my child. One of the big conversations that we had with Rwando was about, okay, how do we how do we ensure that this person is surrounded by kindness?
Yes.
How do we ensure that certain principles that we hold and have grown to uphold are
absolutely
ingrained in them from a young age? How do we set those foundations without the religious doctrine that we felt like pushed us away from believing? And that's like a very big confrontation and conversation that we're still having. Because at least we have like a few months until this person is now registering things. So the whole Christianity thing is like, because I've seen kids that grow up outside of the church. I've seen those that grow up inside the church, and that can be messed. But outside the church is a big gamble, because as a parent, like very few parents are what's the word? Are intentional about intentional and present about instilling certain principles in their children and kindness.
I mean, I won't lie.
Consideration.
Like, when you were talking about, like, for you, your biggest success would be, you know, if she grew up and she was kind, and I was like, that's actually the first time I've heard a parent say that.
I just wanted to be kind and spread joy.
Literally, I'm like, that's the very first time I've heard someone actually say that. Because typically it's like, I want my child to be successful. I don't care about whatever. All of that. You know, you were just like, as long
I'm there. She don't need to be successful. I'm there. Like
you're like she does not need any of that. She
can live in my house until she's 50, as long as she is a kind human who walks into a room and spreads joy
and is respectful to people, not because of age or whatever.
But
you know,
that's all. Like, that is my only expectation. And I need to find the principles that I can drill into her. Like, I need to find the theory that I can practice. And for me, the wildest thing is that was coming from church.
And there's stigma around it also. I don't really care for it. I guess maybe because I've been dealing with this long enough, but also, like, I'm just not special also. Like, I'm not the only person. So I'm not really, like,
precious about it.
I'm not really precious about it. The third thing, I also just let myself have just really quiet moments of just like, you know what, let me just switch off. Even if it's for a day or 2 days or whatever, let me just not, you know, basically.
I get you.
I've had to do that because my mind is overly active all the time. And so I've had to afford myself those moments of just absolute stillness. Because, I mean, if I don't, I just keep going. I keep stressing myself out. It's a mess. So that also helps. I think, unfortunately, also speaking to people. I say unfortunately because I'm tired of speaking to people.
And sometimes it feels like it's making things heavier.
It feels like it's making things heavier. Like,
when you're out of it, that you're like, oh, I'm so glad I shared.
Exactly. Like, in the moment, I'm like, oh my word, like, I really, really, I feel so bad about having to, like, tell people all the shit that keeps going on, like, or that keeps happening to me. But it helps. Sadly, I'm not sad about it, but I'm happy about it too. It helps. What else? What else do I does? I think that's pretty much what I've been trying to do. I've also just been trying to tell myself. I still tell myself it's not my life. It's not my life.
This is a moment. This is
a moment. This is not my world.
This is a scene.
This is a scene in a movie.
An
episode. We're gonna get through this. I have to keep telling myself. I have to, guys.
And because you have seen
exactly
where you want to be.
I have seen where I want to be. Yeah.
How you're gonna get there.
Exactly. So, you know, I can't. Unfortunately, even though I can't tell you how many times I've wanted to deregister in the past month alone. Like, I've just been like, last week already, I was like, you know what, I think I should deregister. Because I was like, I'm just tired. I'm not making any progress. And then every single time that happens, something else always happens that makes me go, oh, you're being a bit dramatic. You're making progress. I mean, I remember after I had said that, it was a Monday. Tuesday, I had a meeting with the stats team, and they were like, oh yeah, no, like we're really excited about your stats. Like it's gonna come next week. Don't worry about it. And I was like, oh, so I can actually finish.
I love those moments where you're like,
literally, it feels like God is like, damn.
Why are you stressing, dog?
It feels like God's like, damn, here you go, shit. Like
Shut up.
Exactly, you've been crying for too damn long. Like I'm tired of it, you know. So yeah, it's been very. I don't know. Like I'm trying. I don't know. I don't have the rule book. I think once I'm out of it, maybe, and I'll be able to sort of yeah, I think I'll be able to. And then I think even in my romantic life, I'm just like, oh my Jesus, like things are just like that's not bad.
At least you have a romantic life. I'm joking, but
it's not bad, but it's also just like, geez, like I'm getting, you're getting older. You're more certain about the
what
things
you
that
want,
you want
and how you want
and how you want it. And I think more than anything, I always knew relationships were work, but relationships are work.
Yes.
They are work, guys.
I say this having been in the same sitch for what, 8 years?
Yeah,
soon?
you've been doing this, You've been doing this for a minute.
And then a baby.
And then a dog.
Well.
And then a dog also.
A dog that's regressing. We're going through it. But
how are you getting through it?
It's funny, we were having this conversation where I was saying, you know what, this may sound really sadistic, but one of the main pressure points in my life right now is managing my gran.
Yes,
right?
Yeah.
And my gran is like 70 years old, and I have just committed myself to ensuring that she experiences joy for the years that she has left.
Yeah.
And I know it is not a long time compared to the amount of time that she has lived in sorrow. So I am willing to sacrifice, and I'm willing to be stressed, and I'm willing to feel any amount of heaviness to ensure that when she goes to sleep at night, she feels there is a pocket of joy in her life. Yeah. So that is one thing that keeps me going, and one thing that says all of this, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
At the end of the day.
It doesn't matter, because this person has lived, I will say, maybe 65, 68 years in absolute sorrow.
That's true.
So what is the last year in comparison to that? What are the next few years?
She still has those years.
What are the next few years?
Why not?
That's the one thing that I'm committing myself to, and that's what makes things feel way lighter. Secondly, I think having a child and having the amount of support that I have, even though I feel extremely exposed, I feel as naked as you are. Like our baby slept over at my dad's for two nights.
2 nights.
We slept without her for the first time like last week or something. It was so weird. Like we went out, so at least we had some drink. I had some drinks, and I was able to sleep because I'd had some drinks. But the second night I was sober and I couldn't sleep. And I had to keep reminding myself and to not like feel like such a bad mom. I'm leaving my baby. Had to lean into the gratitude that how fortunate am I to be so supported that my child has a place to go, and I know they're safe. I know they're loved.
And it's also a choice.
It's a choice.
Your dad chose to
say bring the baby. We want her over. You are young. Go out, have fun. You know. So I want to lean more into the gratitude, and I want to lean more into the gratitude from the perspective of I am empowered in the decisions that I am making that are bringing me ease. I am not operating from a place of disempowerment. I am reframing it to not being about, oh, I'm so overwhelmed, I hardly get any sleep, I'm always busy with the baby, to I am so grateful to have people who can lessen my load.
Yeah.
You know? So I'm looking
like the other day when I put her to sleep, I was like, damn, you have to do this every day?
Every day.
Multiple times a day?
Every day. And she rocks.
Yo.
She does not, she has FOMO. She has FOMO.
She's not trying to sleep.
You see.
And it's like, my sister, when you grow up, you're gonna want that sleep.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's that, and it's also saying, like, constantly, I know it might be toxic positivity, but I'm trying to survive.
Listen, bitch, I'm leaning in. If I have to do that, obviously, like, I dip and then I'm like, I have to take myself.
If I need to lie to myself, I literally keep telling myself that it is not by chance. I think that thing of holding yourself accountable to a higher power or higher powers, it is not by chance that these things are happening to me. It is not by chance that my mom died and I literally started dating. I met Lwando like a few months after that. Actually. It is not by chance that my uncle died. No, I met him after my mom died. It was a few months after my mom died. It's not by chance that my uncle died. A few months later, we have baby Zazzle. And it is not by chance that financially I'm in the position that I'm in when all of this is happening in my family and all of this is happening to my gran. Like, I don't take all of that for granted. Absolutely. And I'm leaning into seeing this as some part of a greater plan and seeing this as my role within this plan and leaning into the fulfillment that comes with all this ease that I'm putting in others' lives and saying, you know what, by making sure that certain things are taken care of, I know that in a few years' time, I can rest. Other people are empowered to then look after themselves. You know, so those are the things that I'm leaning into, and those are the things that make that 10 kg feel like a 5 kg on certain days. But obviously there are those days where it's like, nah, this shit is heavy. And I just want to sit in. This shit is heavy.
The other day, I think I cried for like a good 2 hours. I was like, I can't. I was like,
this is me.
But then even then, I was like, when I was done, I was like, oh shit, let me get up and just like.
And just get.
Let me just get through it. Because what else can I do, guys? I have a will. I have the will to live. I don't want to say unfortunately. Because I love the fact that I am alive and I want to be alive. Having experienced not wanting that, I'm very grateful that I do have the will to survive, or that I have the will to want to live. And so I definitely tap into that a lot. I have to remind myself, like, you weren't like this when at X years ago. Like, you weren't like that. You want this now, and you've been working towards it. You are working towards it, and like, we don't know when we're gonna be out of the bottom. But hey, I'm in a higi haga. I'm telling you, like, it's so and I obviously, like, I don't enjoy being that person. Not to say that, like, why me? I don't. And someone, I was talking to someone about that actually, because I'd heard I went to church back home. Like, when I go back home, like, there's nobody stays at home. Like, it's one of those, no matter how old you are, everybody's going to church no matter what. And I think they were talking about, like, the whole, like, why me thing, and I was like, you know what? I don't even want to ask that question, why me? Because I don't even want it to be anybody else.
Literally.
Why other people? If not me, then who?
But this should not be happening to anyone.
This should not be happening to anybody. Like, I think that was like a good change of perspective for me, because I was like, actually, this should not be anyone. And also, it's not comforting, hey? Like, it's not doing anything for me to go, why me? Why me? It doesn't do anything. So, you have to you just have to, keep sort of tapping into your emotions and just being like, okay, this doesn't work, this works, this doesn't work, this works. Having to check in with yourself, check in with the people around you, check in with the higher power that you are, accountable to. Because what else can you do? Like, I'm like, I can't say I have a will to live and I want to live, and then I live like I don't want to. I think that's also another thing that I tell myself. I'm like, dude,
I said I want to be here.
I said I want to be here, so I have to act like I want to be here. Even with all this stuff going on, even though I'm like, oh my God, like, things could be easier. But I'm just like, on whose account also? Easier on whose? Who told you that? Who said that?
And what is easier?
And what is easier?
Because everything we experience is like made up of so many different factors.
So many. So many. And I think also even just like the death of my grandmother also just made me see so much about just, it gave me a lot of perspective around life, but also the way we treat one another, whether it's families, whether it's chosen families, our presence, you know, the things that we do, the weight that we're willing to pull, and how that can affect other people.
That's another conversation.
That's a conversation.
That's another conversation.
That's another conversation for another day.
Weight pulling.
Yay. Weight pulling. That is.
I would love for us to one day just sit with our families and be like, okay, what value do you believe that you bring to this family as a unit?
Yeah.
Not financial. We're not talking about money. We're not talking about what do you think?
Yeah.
Because oftentimes we say, oh, I feel like these people, they're not looking out for me. In their minds, they believe they're doing enough. So I'd like to understand, what is there enough? Because also me, I believe I'm doing enough, but maybe I'm not.
It's so funny that you're saying that.
It's very tough for us to have that chat.
It's so funny that you're saying that, because I actually, I was actually supposed to arrive yesterday, not when I arrived, but obviously, you know, like the stuff that happened, I had to obviously then fly down quickly and go to the funeral and whatnot. But I remember being like, my plan, one of my goals, you know, when I'm at home, is to actually sit my parents down and be like, I need you guys as my parents. Like, I don't, right now, and maybe for however long, I don't want to be the reliable person.
Yes.
I don't want to be...
I need to share this load.
I want to be parented. I want my parents. You know, like, I want my parents. I don't want to be this grown-up who's, you know... I don't want, but, like, I don't want to be
I need you.
I need you.
Yeah.
Effectively, like, I need you. And, you know, it's just been one of those conversations. And like, unfortunately, things have been happening, and I'm like, am I going to win with this conversation? Like,
that's another thing.
You know, like, when you look...
We talk ourselves out of it, because then you're like, oh, this is not going to be productive.
Yeah.
But in the back of your mind, you're like, because you know that people don't necessarily... I'm going to say they're not operating from a bad place. You want to give them that benefit of the doubt to have that conversation with them, so that you know, oh, okay, if they respond this way, okay, this is the way things are.
Exactly.
This is who they want to be to me.
Yeah.
I've given them the opportunity to be what I would like them to be, or to express what I would like, and to see where they can meet me.
Yes.
But, and I talk myself out of it all the time as well. Like, there's so many conversations that I need to have with so many people. And I'm like...
Like,
I'm too scared of being vulnerable in that way.
Yeah, and I mean, I didn't understand it when someone was explaining it to me, like that, you know, I can't do a certain thing because I need to first have certain conversations with other people. And I didn't understand it, and I was like, I don't understand. And then I was like, oh no, like, I also need to have this conversation.
So many conversations.
I feel like if I were to, even if I were to become a parent, like, just out of nowhere, I'm not going to become a parent, guys, please. Not now, anyway. You know, I'm like, I would want to have that conversation with my parents first.
Yes.
To say, actually, no, I need you as these people. Like, I need you guys to see me as your child, not as your child who is independent, who can, she's alright, you know, like, you know, she's not a bother for us or whatever. Because I think I spent a great deal of my life trying not to be not a bother or a burden, but I guess a burden. You know, I tried very hard, and unfortunately, obviously, it like leaked over into other parts of my life, because then that's what sort of created an emotional sort of block at some point, in just terms of whether it was romantic relationships, whether it was I also need y'all to stop talking about romantic relationships on Twitter. I know this is a random tangent.
Hey man, let people do what they just
do. You guys, but
you know what?
Just, you know,
one of the things, Misho, I will defend the people. Misho versus the people. I will represent the people.
Y'all know I'm bad cop.
Not everyone has the space to have the conversations that other people have.
I agree.
One of the big things, I think, from being extremely isolated while I was pregnant, I chose to be.
You chose.
One of the things I came to see is that not everyone has people that they can talk to every day and talk about certain things, and certain people need to bait in certain ways to the man, just scroll past.
I definitely, I've had to mute certain things.
Forgive them.
And not because I feel like I've clocked the game or whatever. I also have these conversations like sometimes I see your little conversations and I'm like, actually I'm learning something here. But I'm just like, it's just sometimes, like, as you know, we used to be a community, we used to be a society. Let us, but anyway, like I was saying, I think I'd gotten so caught up in not wanting to be a burden, and then it kind of emotionally disconnected me from my parents, where I kind of, I just kind of felt like the useful child, and not a child. And I want to feel like a child. And it's hard. Like, I'm 28. Even saying that is like weird. Not because I not because I like I'm not really like, about like I'm not age conscious or whatever. Like, it is what it is. But I think for the longest time I didn't understand what it meant to be a certain age. Or like what happens when you become a certain age, and the things that need to start registering in your mind before I get to 30 or whatever. But I'm like, recently, like, it's just been coming to me, and I'm like, oh my word, everything is coming undone. Everything is coming undone. I don't know, I'm like, is it coming undone for 30? I'm turning 30 in 2 years. It can't.
But things will be so different.
More undone.
Like, I don't know, the older you get, the quicker things change.
Yes.
I don't know if that makes sense.
No, you're right.
I feel like things that used to take 5 years are now happening in quick. 2, in 1.
Yeah. Sometimes in a day, like in the same day. That's why I was like, literally in the same day, I could be crying about one thing for 2 hours. 2 hours later, that thing I was crying about is fixed, and I'm just like, and I always feel so damn silly, because I always like come out of that, and I was like, I really just had this like really super vulnerable moment, whether it was by myself or whether it was with someone else, and now it's been sorted, and like it feels weird having to go back to the person and be like, yeah, no, so it's sorted out.
It's
and I sometimes I find myself like apologizing, like, I'm really sorry for all of that, and they're like, no, like it's really like completely chilled. Like, it's good that even in those moments of distress, you were able to express distress, but also it got sorted. Like, that's a good thing. So yeah, guys,
I feel like we moved into multiple things, but
because multiple things have been happening, it's been a long time.
Yes, but we're gonna end it there. Please look out for the winner of the competition that we were running,
because also you guys aren't guessing the actual thing that's happening, which is the rebrand, new logo.
I feel like Zanele did.
Yeah, she did.
She did. So she gets an extra point.
Yeah.
But y'all have been sharing some really interesting episodes.
I'm just like, where did y'all get that from? Talking about, I'm an avid listener, but you don't remember. I don't blame you guys. My memory
Do you
is
remember
not,
though?
I don't remember nothing. I don't remember a damn thing.
I think we did give them a tough
I did, and we did, and then I also don't listen to the episodes. Like, I don't listen back.
I hate listening to myself.
Like, I never listen back. When people are like, oh my god, when you're talking about this, I was like, when did I say that? I'm
literally,
like, when did
you just be out here freestyling?
Because I'm just out here like freestyling.
We don't write things down.
Just talking anyhow, and all of that, which is nice. Like, I won't lie to you. I like the fact that I can just come here and just like talk.
You see, that's why other people just be getting them tweets out.
You know what? Actually,
let's end it there. Please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Oh, yes. Also, shout outs to Mash.
Yes, we are recording at his studios, Rucha, once again.
It's really nice here.
Yeah, it's really lovely here.
You can book online.
Yeah, you can book online.
Put it in the description. Yeah. But it's a really dope place. So for all the people who have been wondering how to start a podcast, I think Mash's site has a complete breakdown of how to do it.
And if you need a studio, literally come here.
You can come to the studio. You don't have to worry about having equipment.
Yeah.
It's a pretty cool setup.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But don't use those podcasts for bad. I'm asking you, especially.
No misogyny.
I'm looking at you, black men. I'm looking at y'all. Anyway, like, comment, subscribe. Thank you guys so much. We're gonna catch you in a few. Thanks.
Bye.